is Sarah Salinas. Today I'm going to be speaking over a topic that I chose, which is police brutality. I chose to speak about police brutality because it is a very popular topic and subject right now with everything going on. I feel like it is something that needs to be talked about, but not everyone is worth coming forward to speak about, so I decided to be the person to speak about it. So here I go. Police brutality or excessive use of force by law enforcement can be legally defined as civil rights violation where law enforcement officers exercise undue or excessive force against a subject. I found this definition on Wikipedia /wiki police_brutality. This may include, but is not limited to, physical or verbal harassment, physical or mental injury, property damage, and even death. In some countries, it's told to be said, the color of law protects officers from ambiguous situations. What's the problem in this? Police brutality has always been a huge problem in the United States. Every day, innocent people are losing their lives in the most unreasonable and disgusting ways. Rashard Brooks was 27 years old, died this year, 2020. He fell asleep in a fast food drive-through lane, blocking the drive-through. Police arrived and tried communicating to him for more than 40 minutes when police told him that they were going to restrain him, and he took off running and was shot twice in the back. I found this information on interactive.ajira.com. Another person was George Floyd, 46 years old, died also this year, 2020. George was allegedly trying to use a counterfeit $20 bill. George was handcuffed then to the ground as Officer Derek Ford put his nail on his neck for 8 minutes and 46 seconds as George pleaded for his life with not one but 4 other officers present as he spoke the words, "I can't breathe." After George became unresponsive, the officer still continued to kneel on George's neck even though he was unresponsive. 2 autopsies report listed his death as homicide, although they gave different causes. Who's affected? Because of all these deaths happening, millions of Americans are fearing for their lives, scared to leave outside their homes, and fear that this could happen to them. Officers are supposed to be the people we call when we are in fear or in need of help, but who are we supposed to call when they're the ones causing the harm and doing all this stuff? Consequences and how people are dealing with it. People protested in Minneapolis, and it quickly escalated from a peaceful protest to something very heroic. People started burning down buildings, running into businesses and looting, smashing glasses. A lot of Minneapolis was completely destroyed, and a lot of places simply cannot be rebuilt because of how damaged they are and people just not having the money for it. Stores, big and small, demonstrators were then lashed with tear gas and rubber bullets. The main message that everyone was trying to say is that they wanted to see the officers involved in George Floyd's death arrested. How does this help fix humanity? It took a lot of fighting, protesting, and even retweeting, but after speaking on all these past deaths done by police officers, Officer Rowley was fired, as well as all 4 officers involved in George Floyd's death were charged for second-degree murder. Rolfe was charged with felony murder. Rashard faces a number of charges, including aggravated assault. After police got charged, it has brought justice to the family, friends, and the people of the community living in fear that this could happen to them. This helps by making them feel safe, but although these police officers are put in jail and off the street, this is not where it ends. I believe that this will still continue to happen if people don't come together as a community and just put a stop to it all. Because in a few weeks or maybe even years, the same things will still be happening unless we come together and put a stop to the crime. We have to stop letting police officers simply slide in the system simply because they're supposed to be our help system. Whether it's them being racist or giving you a ticket for something that you feel you didn't even do, everyone should suffer consequences equally. I believe this will not change until everyone else changes and sees the wrongdoing. Some ways of making sure police brutality comes to a stop is number one, tracking the problem. This means keeping accurate databases that a lot of police are not worth forthcoming with the information. It's clear that black people are killed at a disproportionate rate by police officers, making up 24% of deaths, despite being only 13% of the population. According to Mapping Police Violence, but the databases rely on media reports of deaths, not by police departments, not by cities, state, or even government data, for the simple reason that many police departments are not forthcoming with this information. Another way is demilitarizing the police. For decades, our government has been giving police so much police fundings and money for things that they simply should not have access to. For example, they have access to grenade launchers and bayonets, which they simply don't even need, because nothing should ever get that serious where a police officer should have to do that. I feel personally like maybe someone bigger should be able to do that, but also nothing should ever escalate to that. That's how I personally feel. Because if you're giving police officers all access to all these things, it's like asking them for something like this, these certain events to happen. Another way is regulatory ways to change police culture. Use of Force Project found that in departments that adopt more than 8 policies that limit how police can use force, the police kill fewer citizens if they do this. These policies include number 1, requiring officers to de-escalate before using force. Number 2, using guidelines defining the types of force that can be used to respond to specific situations. Number 3, restricting or banning chokeholds and strangleholds. Number 4, requiring verbal warning before using deadly force. Number 5, prohibiting officers from shooting at moving vehicles except in extreme circumstances. Number 6, requiring officers to exhaust other options before resorting to deadly force. Number 7, establishing a duty by officers to intervene if one of their colleagues is using excessive force. Number 8, requiring officers to report all uses of force or attempted use of force. Police brutality will never be okay. It will not stop fighting for justice until justice is met.